On a Wednesday afternoon, just like any other, you smell a sense of smoke in the distance. It seems like the smoke came from construction, but you have a gut feeling that it's something more. In the distance, you hear someone scream, "Fire! Fire! Run!" In 6 minutes, the 32 storage building was on fire. This incident has caused the lives to change of over 2,000 families, and over 4,000 people were affected. This is one of Hong Kong's worst fires, and one of the tragedies of the entire world. That afternoon, a colleague told me, "Hey Helen, you come from Hong Kong, right? You know there's a fire there. I saw it on the New York Times." I thought to myself, Hong Kong fire on New York Times? How serious can it be? But then I looked through Bloomberg to New York Times again, and like all of the international news media, and I knew this was no ordinary fire. It burned to over 7 buildings. Within hours, the death report was 32 people already. That was a very heavy thing for me. A closer look at the international news to find that the incident was actually in Taipo. In the very streets that I go to university on for the past 4 years, there lived the people of ordinary lives in ordinary buildings. And now I know to myself that if I ever go there again, it would never be ordinary again. This thing hit a very heavy part of me because it was a street that I knew really well. So I went home and I told my families about it. Those family members include my sister, who is also seated today, and my dad. I told my dad about this news because not only he was my dad, but because he was a firefighter, a retired one. So I went to him saying, "Hey Dad, do you know there is a fire in Hong Kong that killed like 30 people? He's like, "Huh, I heard about it. I haven't got a deep dive on it, but yeah, I heard it." And then I was like, pulled up my phone, basically showed him the explosions of the fire and said like, "This is living hell. It was a volcano, it exploded. How do you feel about this?" The only reaction he gave me was, "This is gonna be a tough case." Everyone I spoke to was either shocked, extremely saddened, or have a very heavy heart of hearing how many people died in this incident. All he gave me was, "This is a very serious case." So what I thought was, this is all I'm gonna get. I have to ask more, I have to get a reaction out of him. So I asked him, like, how do you feel about this incident? How many firefighters do you think is gonna be involved? How many days would we need to get this incident to disappear, basically? He analyzed the entire thing from just a few video clips, which impressed me a lot. Because me and my dad, my family and my dad, were never really close. He was a firefighter, so he worked a 24-hour shift, followed by 2 days of rest. So throughout the 24 hours, he's basically gone at work. He never uses his phone, basically. And then he would come back home absolutely drained. He would sleep the entire day. And for the other day that he's off, he went out with his friends, go to university. So we don't really see him. He's basically a flatmate of ours that's happened to be blood related to us. So this incident where I talked to him really shook me because normally our conversations are just 15 seconds long. He'll come home, ask me, "How's your day?" I'll be like, "Yeah, it's fine." He's like, "Do you have anything I need to know of?" I'll be, no. That's basically our entire conversation every single day. And the conversation of the Taipo fire went over 3 hours. He explained to me how his life of firefighting used to be. How many fire trucks are normally in a 3rd level fire? How many are those in a 4th level fire? And how many he expected of this 5-level fire, basically a tragedy of the entire Hong Kong. How difficult this is going to be. How many hours would it be needed? This was a very professional conversation. It was calm, there was no reaction basically. Until I said to him this, "Do you heard that there is a firefighter that lost his life in this incident?" And for a second, I see his face dropped. The calmness I had throughout the 2 hours of conversation turned into something more humane. He said to me, "Well, that's very unfortunate." He stopped for a moment as if he was remembering something. And then he said, "That's kind of what my job is. You see your colleagues and you talk to them every day. You joke about how terrible sometimes job is. But you spend time with them. You get to know them. You see they're very brave. And then in the next shift, you just don't see them. You get a message saying they died from a fire accident, protecting the people that they don't even know." And after that conversation, it really changed my point of view towards my dad. He's still a flatmate that I don't really know, but I got a glimpse of his work environment, how he gave his life basically day in and day out for the people he doesn't really know. Those people live ordinary lives but are just influenced by one bad decision. He used to say to me in my childhood, "Don't put so many plugs in the same place," or "Don't leave a fire unattended." Or my personally most hated one, "Don't put your iPad near the stove, it will explode." I normally just think, I don't really care about this. Like, why should I care about this? You're just my flatmate. But then after these long conversations I have with him throughout the week, I realized the warnings he had was very sincere of the accident he had saw in his life. So the next time I put my iPad next to when I'm cooking, I would know. Putting an iPad next to the stove would make it explode. Yes, I know, Dad. Thank you.